Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into an era of unparalleled adventure, courage, and discovery, the 19th century. This was a time when vast regions of our planet were still blank spots on the map, and a special breed of men and women dared to venture into the unknown. They faced incredible hardships, from treacherous landscapes and extreme climates to disease and hostile encounters. Their stories are more than just historical footnotes. They're epic tales of human endurance and our relentless curiosity. So, grab your pith helmet and let us journey back in time to meet some of the most famous explorers of the 19th century. First up, let's talk about the quest to find the source of the Nile River, one of the greatest geographical mysteries of the time. This story is dominated by a few larger-than-life characters. We begin with Richard Francis Burton and John Hanning Speke. Burton was a brilliant linguist, a master of disguise, and an incredibly tough individual. Speke, his companion, was a determined hunter and a skilled surveyor. Together, in the late 1850s, they plunged into the heart of East Africa. Their expedition was brutal. They suffered from tropical diseases, faced supply shortages, and navigated through politically unstable territories. Eventually, they became the first Europeans to reach Lake Tanganyika. However, their partnership soured. While Burton was recovering from illness, Speke pushed on alone and discovered a massive body of water he named Lake Victoria. He was convinced this was the source of the Nile, a claim Burton fiercely disputed. The public feud that followed became legendary. This brings us to another iconic figure, David Livingstone. Originally a missionary from Scotland, Livingstone became obsessed with exploring Africa. He spent 3 decades traversing the continent, driven by his desire to end the slave trade and open up Africa to commerce and Christianity. He was the first European to cross the entire width of southern Africa and the first to see the awe-inspiring waterfall he named Victoria Falls. For years, Livingstone was out of contact with the outside world, and many presumed him dead. This led to one of the most famous meetings in history. Enter Henry Morton Stanley, a Welsh-American journalist sent by the New York Herald with a simple, yet monumental, mission: find Livingstone. Stanley's expedition was an epic in itself, a grueling trek through dense jungle and swamps. Finally, in 1871, in the town of Ujiji on the shores of Lake Tanganyika, he found his man. The famous and probably slightly embellished line Stanley uttered was, "Dr. Livingstone, I presume." This moment captivated the world. Stanley's own explorations would later continue, and he played a significant role in mapping the Congo River basin, though his methods were often controversial and brutal. While Africa was a major focus, the icy poles of our planet were another final frontier that called to the brave. The search for the Northwest Passage, a sea route through the Arctic, had been a dream for centuries. In 1845, Sir John Franklin led a lavishly equipped British expedition with 2 ships, the HMS Erebus and HMS Terror, to find it. They sailed into the Canadian Arctic and then vanished. For decades, search parties were sent to find them, but the mystery only deepened. What happened to Franklin and his 128 men? It wasn't until the 21st century that the wrecks of both ships were finally discovered, sitting on the seabed. Evidence suggests the ships became trapped in ice, and the crew, succumbing to lead poisoning from poorly tinned food, starvation, and the extreme cold, met a grim end. It's a haunting tale of ambition meeting the unforgiving power of nature. Speaking of polar exploration, we can't forget the race to the South Pole. This was the ultimate prize at the dawn of the 20th century, though the preparations began much earlier. The 2 main contenders were the Norwegian explorer Roald Amundsen and the British Royal Navy officer Robert Falcon Scott. Amundsen was a meticulous planner and a veteran of polar conditions. He learned from the Inuit people, using dog sleds and wearing animal skin clothing. Scott, on the other hand, put his faith in new technology, motorized sledges, and man-hauling, a grueling method of pulling supplies by hand. Amundsen's strategy proved superior. He and his team reached the South Pole on December 14, 1911, planting the Norwegian flag. Scott's party arrived just over a month later, only to find their rivals had beaten them. The journey back was a tragedy. Weakened by exhaustion, starvation, and frostbite, Scott and his companions perished just a few miles from a supply depot. Their story, found in Scott's final diary entries, is a heart-wrenching testament to their courage in the face of death. But exploration wasn't just for men. Let us shine a light on some incredible women who defied the strict social conventions of the 19th century. Take Isabella Bird, a British writer and explorer. Suffering from various ailments, her doctor recommended travel as a cure, and travel she did. She journeyed through America, Australia, and Asia. She rode thousands of miles on horseback in the Rocky Mountains, explored remote parts of China, and photographed life in Korea. Her vivid letters and books brought these far-flung places to life for readers back home. Then there was Mary Kingsley, another British adventurer. After the death of her parents, she finally had the freedom to pursue her passion for studying African cultures. In the 1890s, she traveled to West Africa, often alone. She canoed up rivers, trekked through jungles, and lived among local tribes, collecting scientific specimens and documenting their customs. Kingsley challenged the colonial attitudes of her time, advocating for a better understanding and respect for African societies. She was a true trailblazer, proving that adventure and scientific inquiry were not exclusively male domains. The 19th century was also the age of scientific exploration, where journeys were driven by a quest for knowledge. Charles Darwin's voyage on the HMS Beagle from 1831 to 1836 is perhaps the most famous. As the ship's naturalist, Darwin collected countless samples of plants, animals, and fossils from around the world, most notably from the Galapagos Islands. His careful observations of finches and tortoises on the islands led him to question the origins of species. This journey provided the foundation for his groundbreaking book, On the Origin of Species, which introduced the theory of evolution by natural selection and completely revolutionized our understanding of life on Earth. Similarly, the German naturalist and explorer Alexander von Humboldt is a figure whose importance cannot be overstated. Between 1799 and 1804, he undertook an epic journey through Latin America. He climbed volcanoes, navigated the Orinoco River, and meticulously documented everything from geology and botany to meteorology. Humboldt wasn't just a collector, he was a synthesizer. He saw nature as an interconnected web of life, a concept that was far ahead of its time. His work inspired generations of scientists, including Darwin himself, and helped lay the groundwork for modern ecology and environmental science. These explorers, and so many others we don't have time to mention, fundamentally changed our world. They filled in the maps, connected cultures, and pushed the boundaries of scientific knowledge. Their journeys were often fraught with peril and ethical complexities, especially viewed through a modern lens regarding colonialism. But their courage, resilience, and unquenchable thirst for what lay beyond the horizon are a powerful part of the human story. They remind us that the spirit of exploration, the desire to understand our world and our place in it, is timeless. What do you think? Which explorer's story fascinates you the most? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey into the past, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more adventures. See you next time.